between 90 and 95% of people have parasites. They're in our meat. Even if you're vegan or vegetarian, they're in your produce. 1 square inch of a salmon can hold 10,000 parasite eggs. If you wake up and you're grinding your teeth, or you've drooled at night, or you have a rash, you're having some sort of a symptom that your body is alerting you to.
So glad I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Kim, appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
We're just going to dive right into it.
Okay, let's dive in.
Why do you feel most people are sick these days?
I really believe that we need to parasite cleanse. I believe that a lot of people...
Is it really that common for everyone? Like, obviously we're not... This is just your gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
How many people do you think have parasites?
Documented, they say 60 million people in the United States. That's through the CDC. But they don't do great testing in our country. So a lot of people like myself are not tested and counted in that 60 million. So I'm going to say between 90 and 95% of people have parasites.
Let's be conservative. 8 out of 10?
Yes. 8 out of 10.
That's a lot of people.
It is. It's a lot of people.
Obviously, you know, a lot of people feel run down these days and so on and so forth. How do you test to see if there is worms or weird parasites or whatever it might be?
You can test through parasites.org, which is where I went for my stool to find out that I had crypto, as well as my water to find out that we had parasites in our water. And
water?
Yes. Yeah.
Like tap water?
Uh-huh. Like the water you shower in, you bathe in, you rinse your produce off in, you brush your teeth with, you put your retainers in like I did.
Yeah, I have whole home filtration though. Does that help a little?
Yes. So anytime you have like a 5 micron filter on your water system, it's going to remove the nematodes, because nematodes are 40 micron.
Okay.
So if you have a reverse osmosis, see, we weren't drinking our water, but I was showering in our water, rinsing our produce in our water, brushing my teeth. I have a retainer.
So I have like the giant carbon filter, the other weird filter, and then a softener for the whole house. And then for drinking, reverse.
You're good.
Oh.
Yeah, you're good. But you can get it tested as well. It's a pretty easy test. You just fill a container up and you ship it, and then they ship it to Mexico.
Okay.
And they test it there. But we
Funny
had
how they test in Mexico, but not here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there is.
We'll just leave it at that.
That's right. Actually, my stool that I tested with them, I also tested the same stool with LabCorp, which is Western medicine. And I found out I had crypto through them, but LabCorp, it did not come through LabCorp. So it just shows that some of our testing is faulty. And that's why when you see me, I always just say 3 to 4 times a year or with symptoms. If you wake up and you're grinding your teeth, or you've drooled at night, or you have a rash, you're having some sort of a symptom that your body is alerting you to.
Saying I'm not supposed to drool when I sleep sometimes?
No.
What about dry mouth in the morning?
Yeah, dry mouth is okay. That's not a symptom of a parasite.
You know, every time there's that wet spot in the pillow, got to move it a little bit.
Same. I'm like, oh, it's time for me to cleanse. Or I've just, I'm really tired. So it doesn't always mean that you have a parasite, but a lot of times it does. And grinding of the teeth is one that people just don't realize. They just think that you have TMJ. Mm-hmm.
So you're saying I don't need the Botox in my jaw for my TMJ problem?
No, I think you just need to cleanse with Parify.
It's sitting on my desk at home, ready to go.
You haven't done it yet?
No. I've been traveling nonstop. And then in between my travels, I've had my daughter, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying this with a toddler and chasing her. Like,
it's a lot. It can be a lot the first couple of days, but then after that, it actually gets easier because it's a very easy cleanse. It's just 3 times a day and a binder at night.
Are you glued to the restroom or
nope?
Okay.
You're not glued to the restroom. Probably the first few days, I definitely recommend not doing it while you're working, to just kind of see how the herbs respond to your body. Usually around day 3, you're going to know how it's responding. And it isn't always just while you're on the cleanse, because you're putting these herbs in your body to make your body inhospitable, and they last a really long time in our bodies. You can actually feel them after. So it's not always just during the cleanse. A lot of people will say, oh, I did the cleanse and I'm seeing worms now and I finished it. And it's like, well, yeah, because your body, and you put them on alert.
Kind of a gross question, but like, how do you know there was worms in it?
Some people can see them.
Okay.
There are 3 types of cleansers.
Okay.
There's people that are lookers, so they'll look in the toilet, and then there's people that are flushers, and they'll just flush.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's diggers. And that is...
I'm not going with the last option. Might look, but last, no.
But I'll tell you, the diggers are the best because they send me pictures and it's proof for them. Like, it validates them. They know something's going on in their body, so they want to prove it. And they'll go in and they'll dig and they'll find stuff. And they send me pictures. I get pictures all day long.
Do you find that because America consumes so much alcohol, it makes parasites worse in some ways?
I mean, they're definitely like addicted to that alcohol for sure. And it's not just the person that's addicted. They're absorbing. Parasites and worms absorb everything. So they can absorb 6 times their weight in spores, heavy metals, bacteria, viruses. So they're really the ones that are controlling your mind to say, drink more, eat more sugar, overconsume food, because they're just,
sugar.
I know, me too. Candida loves sugar. Your parasite loves the sugar.
Funny enough, I tested for Candida. I did one of those bio HM tests and actually came back good. I was impressed.
That's good. That's good. The nice thing is that it can be controlled, and we all have yeast in our body. It's just when the yeast gets overgrown, that's when it's called Candida. And then that's when it turns into a parasite. The definition of parasite is anything that feeds off of a host.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
why do your method versus like those foot detoxes for heavy metals? And
you can do them all.
okay.
And it is recommended to do them all because we're so inundated on a daily basis with heavy metals, and heavy metals holds the worms down. So as soon as you go in and remove those heavy metals, you have made the parasite feel nervous and scared. And so it is automatically going to start laying eggs because you've released the heavy metals. It's released them from their like nice, safe, cozy couch. And now you got to come in and take out them with like wormwood and Oregon grapefruit and clove. That's why I made this kit specifically, because you should be doing all of this. You should be parasite cleansing with Candida and heavy metals all at once. Because you're kind of going in and disrupting already, you might as well kind of shock and awe it and get them all out, you know?
Are you a fan of EDTA? The IV that does the heavy metal detox?
I mean, I'm a fan of anything that's going to support your body. And the nice thing is that our kit is so gentle. The Parasite kit's so gentle that you can do all of these extra things with it in order for you to really get in there and like scrub deep. They are deep. They're not just in our gut. They're in our blood, our tissue, and our muscle.
How will we know? How long is the process start to finish on a cycle?
30 days.
Okay.
And I give you enough to do 40 because if you want to keep going after 30, if you're like, oh, I just want to do 10 more days, you can, or you can do the 30 and then you do 5 days in between over the full moon. So you do the 30 days and then the next month you do 5 days over the full moon, 2 months in a row, and then you can start again on the 30-day cycle. Other countries like Mexico, they cleanse 2 to 3 times a year. They use synthetics, but they've been doing this for a really long time. So they can pop a pill and do their binder and then call it a day for a few days, and then they're good. And then they know they need to do it periodically. Other countries like Jamaica, they do a tea called the Bush Monthly just to be able to keep cleansing them out because they know they're in our fish, they're in our meat, they're in our produce. So even if you're vegan or vegetarian, they're in your produce. Like if your produce is not properly cleaned, they're in there. Like it's a thing.
Peachy. Plus the heavy metals we're consuming just from being outside and everything else in between, it all feeds. And then, you know, someone like me that plays with firearms a lot, that's a lot of gunpowder and lead. And
you're breathing it in.
Oh, it's vaporized in your face.
Yeah. Yep. So it's good to do some heavy metal flushes and just know that you could potentially see worms while you're doing it because they're weighted down. And it's not shocking. Like it's not, I don't think it's shocking, but I've been doing this
I've
for
seen
really
some of those
long.
pictures.
They're pretty wild, right?
Some of those things are really long.
They are. They're really long. I don't have a tapeworm. And for anyone that does, I'm so sorry, but I'm so thankful I don't have a tapeworm. And those are really long. Those grow really long. If you don't get the head of a tapeworm, it's just going to keep going. Like you have to get that whole tapeworm. They actually have like 46 uteruses in each one of those segments, and they can produce 1 million eggs a day.
Gross.
Yes, it's pretty gross. It's pretty gross. But it's like natural too. So I think that that's the part that is so different for people to think about looking at it on the other side. They're in your body decomposing for a reason. For me, it was because I had so much scar tissue. I was so sitting all day. I was so sick. I was the perfect host for them. And I had Cryptosporidium parvium, roundworm, pinworms, and flukes. And I was a huge sushi eater, a huge salmon eater.
Did you stop eating sushi?
I did. I'm so sad. Salmon's my favorite, and I just can't get past it. I eat like vegetarian ones where I have.
Like I'll do a cucumber roll.
Totally. I'll do an avocado roll, but no, I can't. I just can't get past the salmon videos I get. And there are so many.
I do my best to stay away from salmon.
Yeah, they're very high in worms. And it's the closer to the belly cut. So a lot of people will say, oh, these top end sushi restaurants.
Yeah,
that
salmon
use it,
belly or.
that's where it's full of them.
Cool.
They say that one like square inch of a salmon can hold 10,000 eggs, parasite eggs.
So glad I haven't eaten breakfast yet.
Brian.
Just one of those days. So I was like, oh, I got time to eat breakfast. And then someone called. I'm like, no time for breakfast.
No, I don't have time for breakfast. I'm sitting with Worm Queen and I won't want to eat after this.
There was a reason I didn't eat breakfast. After the 30 days, how often is a person, or at what point does someone start to feel better?
Well, for me, I knew and felt better within like 3 days.
Okay.
Because I knew that this is what was going on. My chronic illness was validated. And so it was just, this is my lifestyle now. And
it wasn't in your head.
No, it was not in my head. And I feel like because I come from Western medicine, I have 2 healthcare degrees. I ran 25 medical colleges. I was a professor. I wrote books. How could I have worms? How could I not know that this is really a thing for us, as well as mold? So these environmental toxins. And so when I started having my medical awakening, which is now what we're all seeing a medical awakening.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing people realize that we've been lied to about our bodies, that this really is environmental toxins is really a thing, and that it is a root cause to a lot of autoimmune diseases because your body doesn't know how to respond to all of this. It just kind of stops and is attacking itself specifically because we're not giving it any assistance to rid the environmental toxins that are chilling in our bodies. So it's not just parasites, but, Lyme. I mean, Lyme is a huge one. I have Lyme. And I had Lyme for 30 years and didn't even know it. It was a lot of my symptoms. And then parasites and mold are co-infections of that. So it really is like a big thing where we're just not thinking that it is because we're all from Western medicine, where functional and root cause doctors, how can they get their point across if we're not believing it as a society that this could be a thing? So for me particular, how did I not know this? I'm teaching people, they get 3 minutes in a lab to look at your stool and to decide whether or not it has a parasite in it. And if they don't see anything after that stool has sat for 10 days, you're automatically told you don't have that, but there's like fine print on your lab report that says this is not in lieu of a parasitic infection. So insurance will not pay for the very expensive antiparasitics that run through Western medicine for you to take them. And so how can you ever know what is going on with your body if you're not allowed to go take an antiparasitic or find out what herbs you can take to help your body get through this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could elaborate, but don't feel like getting flagged today.
It's kind of a sad state at times, but I also see us as a society pulling together and saying, we're just not going to tolerate that anymore, and have voices
It's
out
being
there.
talked about more and more now.
It is. It's great. I love it. I think this is like the best thing that we could do for ourselves. Not just parasite cleanse, but really Parify is way more than that. I've done herbs in there that you have never taken before. They're foraged. I have some mushroom tinctures. I have a way for you to really calm your nervous system down, because they really do disrupt our nervous system. So it's kind of a cool cleanse, because you're not just removing parasites and heavy metals, but the inflammation goes down and you start to feel better. Your brain fog calms down. And for people that are chronically ill, that's huge. For you to have a few days a week to be able to do something for yourself is a game changer for people that can barely get out of bed, or that are just so tired that they won't continue to live their life. And isn't that the whole purpose of what we're doing, is to have a good quality of life and enjoy what we're doing every day that we can. And so it feels like for cleansing, that's what's really of importance for people.
Yeah, for me, like midday, I'm smoked.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm like, a nap sounds great, but unfortunately, not happening.
Yeah.
Unless I have my toddler, then I'm like, all right, I'm taking a nap. You nap, I nap. I need
You
more
also
energy.
like to eat sushi, Brian, so.
I do. Not as much, though, these days. More, steak.
Do you cook your steak really well, or do you eat it raw?
Medium?
Okay.
I'm not going smack in the middle. Maybe
Okay.
closer to the left than the right.
I have a video where the girl is picking worms out of her steak, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just had steak.
I can give up the sushi.
Not the steak though, man. Like, the steak is important.
I can give up chicken too.
Oh, I just did a video where they were picking it out of the chicken. I mean, it's in animals, right? The animals are eating the dirt and eating the ground, and that's where you can get them too. I don't know if you saw when I was on Sean's podcast, but I believe that 95 to 100% of pet owners have parasites. It's just a thing, because you deworm your dog. Why aren't we deworming ourselves? You let them lick you. You let them lay in bed with you. They can.
My guy doesn't lay in the bed.
Okay.
Not happening.
But does he lick you?
Of course.
Do you deworm him?
He gets diatomaceous earth every day.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So the answer is yes, daily.
Yeah, totally.
And I'd rather just give him a little bit of that every day than flea and tick and everything else and poison him.
I think that's smart.
It's worked.
Yeah.
I'm 2 years into it and he's still good.
Yeah, that's good. And it's really gentle on them. It's not something that's...
That plus some milk thistle.
Oh, nice. That's like super strong for them and their immune system. It will help fight it.
A full raw diet, no kibble.
Oh, good.
It's just a night and day difference.
Yeah. And you give him filtered water.
The house is filtered.
Yes,
yeah, he gets the RO.
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
That's right.
I was like, I filtered? Yeah, he gets RO.
There was a lady that came into my DMs and said she changed her dog over to, good glass bottled water, and it stopped having the brown around its eyes. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, think about it. That's what you're bathing in too.
Well, the funny part for me is like my dog really doesn't drink that much water because the raw meat is so moist. Oh. And I still add some water like in the bowl. So it slows him down more than anything and mixes the diatomaceous earth into it. But his water intake is actually not as much as like a dog eating kibble because, they're trying to break down all that food.
Yeah, he's getting it in his food. So that's smart. That's really smart.
We feed raw, and some other people have really given me a lot of information on which way to go on it. It's like, you're taking care of your health. Why aren't you taking care of your pet's health? And why aren't you being preventative instead of reactive? Because as we know, walking into the vet is usually $1,000.
Oh, for sure.
And it only goes up.
Yep.
And, people are like, well, it's so expensive. I'm like, dude, one vet visit covers the difference.
Being preventative is really what we're doing here. It's really about not having issues later in life. Because as sick as I was, if I would have known how to prevent a lot of these things.
How long did you feel shitty for till you found a solution?
So in 2019, Jeremy and I picked up our life that was in Tacoma. He quit his job and I quit my job, and I was circling the drain. We got our affairs in order and we went out to our property in Hoodsport, Washington to build our log home, which we built with our bare hands, and I was dying. And so between 2019 and 2021, we did everything we could possibly do to save me. I was so heavy of just inflammation. My skin was a disaster. My hair was falling out. I hadn't pooped in a month. There were so many things going on with my body, which now I know what was going on with it. But if I would have been able to prevent some of this, which now we know how to prevent a lot of this, it would have been
during that 2-year span, what led you towards the solution?
Well, funny enough, TikTok for the parasite cleanse, I had an account already that I taught people how to grow mushrooms, and we were building our home, so we were showing that as well. Mm-hmm. And I came across the video. TikTok seems to be able to read your mind sometimes. So I swiped, and this girl goes, "Oh my gosh, I almost unalived myself over worms." And I stopped and I thought, a few years ago, I had said to my doctors, could I have worms? I have itchy butt during the full moon. I have flares during the full moon. There was a spot and it was weird, and they were going to biopsy it. And then when I got back a couple days later to have it biopsy, it was gone. And I looked up colonics, like I had done the whole thing. And then because they can brainwash you and control your mind, they were like, yeah, no. And so I never thought anything of it again. And then I did this cleanse, and within 3 days, I did another company. And within 3 days, I saw flukes, roundworm, and pinworms within 3 days.
Did you have to go digging or it just showed?
It was just right there. I did not. I've never been a digger. No, I'm no judgment. I love diggers, but I've never been a digger. I'm a looker and a flusher. That's it.
And then from there, you're like, hey, I need to create my own line of this.
Yeah. So then I did a video, 60 seconds, and I went real viral on TikTok in July of 21. And 1 million people in 2 hours watched my video.
That's a lot of people.
It is. It was not expected that day. We had all of our family coming to help start our build, and we had a lot going on that day. And I did 10 videos, and I saw in the comments that this is a thing. People were telling me, you got to bind, you should add this herb with that, you should do this. And I'm like, wait, so people actually do this. Wow, this is great. And I felt so good. So I'm thinking, okay, well, what else can I do here? So then I started compiling other herbs. And I'm not from the herbal world. I literally have 2 healthcare degrees in Western medicine. So this was a huge switch for me. But I just look at the herbs the same way I looked at synthetic meds. Yeah. Right. So I realized that you can't just do it with wormwood and black walnut hull and garlic.
They taste so bad, though.
Oh, then you got to definitely put the tinctures in water, Brian, when you do it, because it is very bitter. But I like the way Parasite tastes. I like the way the herbs taste.
I had those rapeseed drops the other day.
Oh yeah, those are harsh. Yeah.
Well, I was at a convention. I'm like, I don't want to get sick.
Yeah, those are good for you.
In a little shot glass, a little bit of water, just let's go.
Yeah, then you definitely want to put them in water. Oh, you can do all 3. I think they taste good, but that's just because I like to feel the heel.
Nope. Maybe I'll blend it into a smoothie or something. I'll figure something out. Use that brain of mine.
So I decided to start my own specifically because there's nothing out there like this.
And there still probably isn't.
There is not. No. Thank goodness that we have such a good kit that even if there was something, ours is the best. The way that we make it with love in our own manufacturing facility, RogersHood does it all ourselves. We're third-party tested. It has herbs that are really hard to find, and they're just so good together. What I did was, when I realized that I had intestinal worms as well as blood, and I had all these things, I started looking at the frequency of those specific ailments and what I could bring in to assist it. So kind of like when an opera singer sings and shatters that glass, her voice is the same frequency. I brought that in to all of the herbs in this. And so like Sustain has usnea, and I have Lyme, and usnea helps with bacteria and viruses, and it's Mother Nature's doxycycline. And that's why I do so well on Sustain, because it helps calm my Lyme symptoms down by using that one herb. But then you incorporate that with like Oregon grapefruit. It helps with your nervous system. It helps with inflammation. Your viruses get pulled out the way they're supposed to, because I brought the frequency of those ailments to shatter them. So it's more than just, oh, you're taking these herbs. Like I really sat down while I was going viral and talking about other people's cleanses, where it was like $250 by the time you brought it. Oh, and that's cheap compared to like, I love Cellcore, but compared to Cellcore, they're expensive, and you have to take like 26 pills a day.
Oof.
Tinctures are so readily available.
And they're just easy.
Oh, it's so easy. They're so good. This is the way our ancestors used to cleanse. This is the way our ancestors made medicine. Like this is the way that we should be doing it when we're doing something like this, you know?
Why do you feel most Western practitioners aren't integrating something like this?
I think they're egos in a way. I also think they just don't know, and that's a fear. And I just think that they're very closed-minded, and it makes me sad because that's where I come from. I've been doing this since 2004. So when I realized in 21 that I had reached out for help on multiple occasions and was told that I was crazy.
I was told that.
Yeah. I don't like to be gaslit, man. I'm going to rebel even more.
Yeah, I went through some health stuff and I just got ran in circles. And
Yep.
as I told you offline, I was in the industry, and just being that deep in the industry to get ran in circles by some of the biggest names in the country just blew my mind.
Yeah.
The fact that I had to go back to the drawing board and put on my thinking hat and find solutions was insane.
It's insane. It's insane how deep you have to dig too. I had to dig really deep. I did a lot of psychedelics and I meditated a lot every day. I was very fortunate that my husband is who he is, because I don't know how many people in the middle of a log home build would stop it to go grow mushrooms, because I knew that was how I was going to be able to like regain my brain and regain my body.
Well, I'm a big fan of those things.
They're my favorite, obviously. Obviously.
And they grow pretty quickly.
Yeah, they do. They really do. And Amanita is one of my favorite mushrooms, and she foraged her. And I learned how to like break her down to make tea and muscimol. So it really helped me on my journey to be able to find this knowledge that like isn't really out there. And that's what I'm doing here.
The crazy part is, even though you've gone viral, it's still not out there.
It's not. And I'm trying. I get censored heavily. It's okay though. This is what I do now to
get
combat
uncensored.
that.
Yeah.
Like you just go on, I'm on your platform now.
Yeah.
I'm on this platform. And the more platforms I go on to assist people in their medical awakening, the better it's going to be for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just lucky that I had the skills to be able to create a company, RogersHood, and to be able to have building experience to build our own manufacturing facility. We have a 10,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
That my best friend Erica runs. So she owns half of the business with us, and she runs that. We have 30 employees. I mean, I don't do anything small.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm going to do it big, because this is something that I believe we all need to be doing. What is 3 times a year? 3 to 4 times? What is that? Nothing.
I did the math. The cost was like $120 for like everything.
Yeah. I made it so inexpensive because I want people to do this. And when Jeremy and I needed this, it was so expensive.
And it wasn't a complete package.
No, I didn't know you had to bind. I had no idea what a binder was, which is coconut activated charcoal. Ceylon cinnamon is ours. It's called Cinnabon. I came up with fun names because this is not always fun for people. But if you can have some fun, we do group cleanses. We have a bug out program that you can join so that you get once a week coaching from us. Like, I'm really trying to make this so that people feel comfortable about talking about worms and parasites. Other countries do this. If this was just oh, well, she just made this up or the parasites aren't real, other countries know that this is an issue. You would never go to Mexico and drink their water.
No chance.
I will never drink water from our country.
I used to, I still kind of do, race in Mexico. And I'd bring my own water.
Yeah. I don't do ice. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so many
Unless I'm in a
things.
resort.
What?
Unless I'm in a resort.
Well, because they usually have a filtration system and then you shower. But I do bring our filters everywhere we go.
That's what I was going to ask is, so for how much you're traveling and podcasting and doing everything, I know you're not going to go drink a bottle of Fiji.
No, I don't. I'll drink like Mountain Valley. Icelandic is my favorite.
Icelandic is plastic though.
Nope, you can get glass.
Where?
Actually Irwan. Usually I clean them out.
I refuse.
Sprouts,
Okay,
Whole
fine.
Foods.
Okay.
Mountain Valley's glass. So I'll do Mountain Valley. And
Mountain Valley's easy.
Yep, Mountain Valley's easy. And if I
did see a recent report though that Mountain Valley had higher lead levels.
On Oasis.
On Google somewhere?
Google? I follow Oasis. He's great, man. He'll tell you. He really goes in and does the reports.
I'm just trying to make it where like, look, I'm not going to be 1,000%, but
exactly
limit.
Same.
And I'm like, I'm in a car all day long.
Yeah.
It's my mobile office. Like pretty sure I drank a Fiji water bottle that was sitting on the front seat just now. And then I travel to different places where it's plastic or plastic.
You just have to do what's best. It's really just, there's like an 80-20 rule. 80% of your day is what you need to be doing. And 20% of your day is like, okay, I did my best.
Well, is there like, and I'm just asking because I don't know the answer. Let's say you have your own water bottle that you take with you, a metal one. Is there some kind of filter you can take the bottled water, pour it through to at least get some of it out?
Yeah. I think it's called Life Filter.
Life Straw?
Yeah, Life Straw.
What?
And then it's all in like
one.
Yep. And then it kind of cleans it all out. And then you have even cleaner water.
Because it's already clean-ish. I just want the plastic out.
Yeah. I think that's what you can do.
Oh.
If not, if I can't get glass, then I just do what I need to do to have water. And usually I'll do like Evian. I think they're the highest score for
plastic,
the best plastic bottled water. But I mean, you know, we just all do our best. So, but I definitely bring my filter everywhere I go. I won't shower in just any water because you're absorbing it. I think it's like 2 cups of water every 15 minutes you'll absorb and everything in the water.
My daughter takes like 30-minute showers. She's about this big.
But you have a
whole home.
You have, you have a
but like if we're
system.
In a hotel, that kid's not getting out.
I mean,
so you bring your own filter for the shower at a hotel?
We bring our own filter for the shower everywhere we go.
Do you pop the head off and then put on your own?
Yeah, we pop the head off and then we have a filter that goes on
in
it.
line.
Yep, it just sits
in between.
Yep, we do that.
So you bring a crescent wrench with you?
Jeremy does. Yep, and
so you check your
plumber's tape, and we
you have to check your bag every time.
Oh yeah. We check a bag.
I was trying to find a way around the check. Oh my god.
You can still have you can't have a wrench when you go through TSA.
You find out, you let me know.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll ask.
Unless you get one of those like rubber strap ones with the plastic bar.
I think you can.
I know you can actually pull off a screwdriver.
Okay. Well, I'll ask TSA when I go through on Sunday.
You let me know.
I'll let you know. It's just do your best, right? Like
yeah, but like
and then you cleanse.
I like long showers.
Yeah. Well, you're absorbing what's in there. So that's kind of why it's really important to have the mineral replacement in your shower head because you're getting that in your body as well. You're absorbing it all.
So for me, like I have the filter, so I'm not too worried about it. And then funny enough, I had a guest on the other day and they're a sauna manufacturer. And then we got into the topic of steam rooms. Mm-hmm. Well, what water are they using?
Right.
Never clicked in my head before. And you're vaporizing.
Wow.
Shit out of all of it.
Wow. Yeah.
You're turning it into a gas. So not only is your skin absorbing it, you're inhaling it.
You're inhaling it.
So you're getting roasted from both sides.
Brian. Now I got to ask. Now when I go into a steam, I'm going to have to ask. That's crazy. Well, Ophora, that's who they have like a whole spa set up too. They have a whole house filtration system. And that makes so much sense to have that extra water when you do a steam for your house as well. Yeah. Well, we have a 3-filter system with a UV light.
For drinking or the house?
The whole house.
Yeah.
And then we have a reverse osmosis with add back. So we have like 14 filters or something by the time it touches us, because we know our water is contaminated in Hoodsport, Washington. We also know it's contaminated in Seattle. We've tested it.
How often are you changing filters?
In Seattle, we change our shower filter weekly because it's like black.
Even with the whole home?
We live in an apartment in Seattle, and then we have a house, our log home. We had to move out of our log home to finish our log home. It is finished though. It's like an 1,800 square foot log home. It's beautiful. It's in the mountains. We finally finished it.
So there you're good.
Yeah, we're good.
At the apartment, you have to change. So once a month you're changing.
We change the shower head once a week because it's so gross. And then
like you actually see it in the filter.
Oh yeah, because it's a clear filter on the shower head. And then underneath our sinks, we have 3-filter system underneath our sink, and only cold. We didn't do the hot side. I don't mind washing my face in cold water. So we hooked it up to the sink, the 3 filters. So people ask a lot, like, what do you do when you're in an apartment or you rent? You can get, I like Water Drop, and you can get just their 3-filter system. You go underneath your sink, you hook it up, you shut your hot water off, and then you just run cold water from your sink in your bathrooms. And then we have the same filter system underneath our kitchen that is hot and cold. So.
And you're just unscrewing right off the wall.
Yep.
Putting the filter in line, then from the sink back into the filter.
Exactly. And that's what you do. And it's about $200.
That's very affordable.
Very affordable. Water Drop is great. They have been proven that their filtration system is great, because like nematodes are 40 micron, and that's really where the problem is. Our country doesn't test for nematodes. They do test when needed for parasites, which is Giardia, D. fragilis, and crypto. I had Cryptosporidium parvium, which is parvo, which kills puppies. That's what I had. And so I did a ton of research on their micron size and like what the filter needs to be. And then I found out that 40 micron is physical worms, which we had physical worms in our water.
You like a 10.
What?
Filter wise.
Yeah, a 10, 5 to 10 micron. But 5 is what we use everywhere we go, just because then it'll actually get rid of even more before it gets onto your body.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Water's my jam. I love water because it's such a life force. Like we need it. And I don't think people really think about everything that's heavy metals in our water and parasites in our water and even mold. You know, we went through all of this, and then a year after I went viral, we found out we were living in our travel trailer while building our log home with Aspergillus niger. And I pulled all of our furniture away from the wall and I found mold. And so I actually have mold poisoning that I've been dealing with for 2 years.
Have you been able to get it out?
I am working very
diligently.
Yeah, I did Therapeutic plasma exchange. I did 4 of them. Love it. It's one of the best things I've ever done.
Expensive.
Yeah, but in Seattle, it's half the cost as other places.
How much is it in Seattle?
It was $5,000 each time.
And how many liters are you exchanging?
So I had 3 pounds each time of plasma removed from my body.
And then they pumped in fresh.
Yeah, they pump in albumin. So they remove the blood.
It's not horrible.
No, and I feel better. I did it all last month. So I spent 4 weeks. Every Monday I did it. And I feel great. I feel great. The age that's internal has been reversed by at least 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
At least is what they say. Because people are using it for anti-aging, but I used it to remove the mold, the Lyme, 70%, and the parasites, because that all lives in your plasma. Way? Yeah. So it's
almost
cool.
like Ebu.
Kind of, but they spin it there in it, and then they put the albumin in to be a placeholder, and then you do more plasma. But it is very similar to it. I loved it. It was great. How long
does each sit?
Around 4 hours. I sat for 4 hours. I had Jeremy help me while I was sitting. The first one we actually filmed.
What happens if you got to pee?
You don't. get to.
Hold it.
Yep. You got to go pee before. And then we filmed it. So when my podcast comes out, you'll get to actually watch, because I sat there my first one and I did podcasting with the doctors.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. Sam Bruno's my co-host and best friend, and she was there. And so we filmed, and then she like had to hold the microphone a few times because I can't do anything.
Yeah.
You're sitting like this the whole time.
That's where the wireless mic comes in handy. Just
Totally. It was the best thing I've ever done for my health. I feel so much better. My brain fog is better. So I tested my blood before I did it, and then I just tested my blood after to see exactly how well the therapeutic plasma exchange did for me.
What
so I'll
were you
get
testing?
my results. Lyme levels, mold levels, because that's really what has affected me and Jeremy's health the most, is the amount of mold exposure that we had. And it makes your brain swell. So I have autoimmune encephalitis. So my brain swells because of this mold.
Damn.
Yeah. Mold is no joke, man. And it's in like 60% of the buildings that we inhabit. And when you have parasites, they live together. So that's why it's so important that when you're cleansing and you are in mold, they're dropping those spores, and the spores will colonate in your body. So we have a mold cleanse as well. We have a moldies cleanse. And I specifically did that because when I started cleansing for mold, there's nothing out there. And it was so frustrating.
What's the stepping stone currently? Do you do the parasite cleanse, and then once that's completed, then go to the mold cleanse?
Yes. We recommend 2 to 3 Parafy kits first. Before moldies.
They're essentially just shy of a year out.
Approximately. And it's because you're releasing spores when you kill them off. They're holding on to them. Wormwood will suppress those spores so that they don't colonate while you're doing the Parafy kit. And then when you step into the moldies, it's just boosting your mitochondria as well. Our main cleanse moldies has herbs in it that actually will help boost and make you feel better. Then I have Immune and Recover, which has mullein, so it breaks the mucus down, and Recover helps with hair, nail, and skin. And I lost half of my hair because of mold. So
I'm 3 transplants in.
You would love doing Recover every day. It would be so helpful. But I brought all of it in because these herbs are really great, and we just don't utilize the herbs and the way our bodies can help with the herbs, where synthetics, like what we take, it's hindering our bodies. Our bodies don't know how to process these synthetic medications. And so when you have herbs that work with your body, the feeling is just unmatched. Yeah, it's great, you know. But mold is a huge journey for me, and it's very hard to get mold out of your body, but it is a co-infection for a lot of things when you're living in it. And I was learning all of this while going viral, running this crazy business because we're so busy. It's an all day, everyday thing.
I know the feeling.
Oh, yeah. It's wild how busy running a business is. And I'm like in my healing journey while doing it, you know, and on film. So you can't always not feel good. You're like, okay, I'm here. I'm showing up for the community because
you just got to show up and do.
Yeah. And I love it. I love what I'm doing. I love the fact that I can give my knowledge to people and help them transform their lives, because that's really what this whole thing is for me about, is transforming people and helping them be the best that they can be while we're here.
Love it. As we wrap, where can people find you?
You can find me on TikTok under MrsRogersHood, MrsRogersHood. And then on Instagram, it's MrsRogers.hood. And on YouTube, it's MrsRogersHood. My website is rogershood.com. And or you can just type in Kim Rogers, Worm Queen, and I will pop up.
Makes it easy. As we close, any final recommendations for the listeners and the viewers?
Give yourself grace. Healing is a process. Definitely cleanse 3 to 4 times a year with Parafy. And also just give yourself a lot of time to heal. This is not something you want to rush, and just know that it's going to take a little while.
I like it. Appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Brian.